Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So for this conference, I would like to present the research entitled An Analysis of Tax Avoidance by the Malaysian Listed Corporation. And this research is jointly conducted by me myself and my colleague Muhammad Yusuf bin Abdul Khalid. Right, as an introduction, tax is the main sources of government revenue that is used for development purpose, and it is also a tool for fiscal policy to control the problem of inflation and economic recession faced by a country. Taxation contributes to the impact on investment, social and economic of a country. Development countries like Malaysia need significant amount of tax collection to ensure the smooth and effective running of the state at the national and also sub-national level. And taxation has statistically important effect on the amount of GDP per capita for a country. In the year of 2019, tax revenue contributes to 67.28% from the Malaysian total revenue. And in the year of 2020, although the federal government of Malaysia's revenue is projected to decrease by 14% due to the COVID-19 pandemic, tax revenue still be a significant contribution to the national income of a country. Right. We can divide tax into two main groups, which are direct tax and indirect tax. And corporate tax is one of the direct tax. And referring to this table, we can see that corporate tax contributes to more than 50% of the total direct tax collection for the 5 years period from 2013 to 2017. The Inland Revenue Board of Malaysia, as the tax administrator, has implemented 14 strategies or initiatives to ensure tax compliance in Malaysia. However, we are still facing the issue of tax leakage, and tax avoidance is one of the issues under tax leakage that have been faced by the Malaysian. And if we look at this table, we can see that there is an increase in the numbers of tax avoidance from 5 years period from 2013 to 2017. According to the Malaysian Customs Department Director General, Datuk Sri T. Subramaniam, Malaysia has lost 1 billion ringgit alone last year in uncollected tax. And according to the Malaysian Institute of Integrity, the loss of billions of ringgit from the national income should be taken seriously. This shows that tax avoidance is a serious problem that needs to be monitored. Therefore, the current study is conducted with the objective to investigate the factors that influence tax avoidance behavior among corporations in Malaysia. Before we proceed, we will look at the concept of tax avoidance. Tax avoidance is a process of intervention to prevent the effects of undesired tax. Okay, this is all the literature review that we have conducted. So basically, the literature review is focusing on the factors that we will investigate. Okay, we have six factors that we will investigate. So this literature review focus on the factors of return on asset, firm size, leverage, sales growth, capital intensity, and also inventory intensity. And all these six factors is actually the company characteristics factors that possibly influence the behavior of tax avoidance by the corporation. As for the research framework, this is the research framework that we use in this study. Basically, the research frameworks represent the relationship, the possible relationship between the dependent variable of this study, which is tax avoidance, and all the six independent variables. Okay, and the six independent variables are return on asset, firm size, leverage, sales growth, capital intensity, and also inventory intensity. As for the research hypothesis, we have developed 6 research hypotheses, and all these research hypotheses explain the possible relationship, or either it is a positive relationship or negative relationship between all these 6 company characteristic factors and tax avoidance among listed corporations in Malaysia. Okay, this study will use quantitative research design, whereby the data in the study are in the form of numbers and statistics, which are arranged in tables and figures, and the data in the study is gathered using structured research instruments. Population of the study consisted of 785 companies listed in the main market of Putra, Malaysia. And how we are going to choose the number of samples, we are using the rules by IRCHST and Morgan, whereby according to the number of population, 785 companies, we will choose 260 companies as a sample. And specifically, this is our sample. The sample in the study comes from 13 different industrial sectors. So we are choosing these companies based on the stratified sampling, and the number and the total number of samples is based on the tables by IRCHST and Morgan. Right? As for the data, we are using the secondary data, whereby the data is collected from the annual reports of the companies in the year of 2019. Okay, this is about the operational measurement of variables in the study. Basically, we have 1 dependent variable and 6 independent variables. As for the dependent variable is the current ETR, and this independent variable is measured by the formula of current tax expenses divided by the income before tax. As for the independent variable, okay, we have a return on asset, which is measured by net income divided by total asset. Firm size is represented by total asset of the corporation. Leverage is operationalized through total debt divided by total equity. Sales growth is measured by the current year sales minus preceding year sales divided by the preceding year sales. Capital intensity is measured by the formula of total fixed asset divided by total asset, and the inventory intensity is operationalized through the formula of total inventory and total asset. And this formula is being used by the previous research. Okay. As for the data analysis, we are using the main data analysis that is used in this research is multiple regression. Okay, but we also conduct the usual statistical analysis like normality test and also Bayesian correlation test before we conduct multiple regression analysis. Okay. As for the results and discussion, okay, this is the results for the normality test. if we look at this result, we can see that all the value of the students is not more than 3, and all the value of the kurtosis is not more than 10. And according to Klein, this implies that the data in the study is normal, so we can proceed with the parametric analysis. This is the results with regards to the Pearson correlation. So if we look at the results, we can see that all the R value is not more than 0.7. Therefore, it implies that the data do not suffer from the problem of multi-collinearity, right? And this is the main result. Multiple regression analysis shows that out of 6 independent variables, 3 of the independent variables shows significant effect towards tax avoidance by the cooperation investigated. Okay, the factors that show significant results are return on asset, leverage, and sales growth. Specifically, return on asset and sales growth shows negative significant effect towards tax avoidance. It means that the higher the return on asset, the lower the tax avoidance behavior by the corporation. The higher the sales growth, the lower the tax avoidance by the corporation. However, for the leverage shows significant positive effect towards tax avoidance. Means that the higher the leverage, the higher the tax avoidance by the corporation. Right. And the adjusted R square for the multiple regression model is nearly 23%. This shows that the relationship between the models, the regression models can explain 23% of the relationship between the dependent variable, which is tax avoidance, and the independent variables. Okay. Right. And from the 6 hypotheses that we developed, means that we accept the first hypothesis, the third hypothesis, and the fourth hypothesis. And the remaining hypothesis is rejected. Okay. Now we can look at the possible reasons behind the results that we obtained. As for the results with regards to return on asset, we find that there is a negative significant relationship between return on asset and tax avoidance conducted by the company. So, the return on asset indicates that the performance in terms of efficiency of the firm in managing its operation. That is the meaning of return on asset. The increase in the return on asset, if there is an increase in the return on asset, there will be an increase in the efficiency of the company. As a result, the company may have low effective tax rates as they have fully utilized the tax incentive such as deduction or relief and other tax provisions which have been given by the government to the corporation. Right. Second, pertaining to the results of leverage, we find that leverage shows positive and significant relationship with tax avoidance. Okay, the higher the leverage of the corporation shows that the corporation can use the interest tax shield of debt to finance their business entities as their tax deduction. This is because the corporations can benefit and utilize tax deduction from the interest and other financial payments when doing their tax filing. As for the result, chargeable income of the corporation will decrease, and it will decrease the effective tax rate, which also will increase the tax avoidance activities. And pertaining to the results of sales growth, we have found that sales growth shows significant and negative effects towards tax avoidance. Okay, the sales growth indicates the increase of the sales from previous year. As for the result, it will increase the profit of the company itself. The increase in profit of the company reflects to the good company leadership in order to maximize the value of the company and take care of their reputation. Therefore, the tax avoidance initiative made by the company will also decrease. So that is the possible interpretation behind the results that we found in this study. Right? As for the contribution, okay, we can explain the contribution into three main points. The first one is the contribution towards policymakers. The findings of this study will assist the tax administration in Malaysia to evaluate whether their strategies or initiatives that they have been taken have met the objective stated in their annual reports or not. Okay, and second, contribution towards practice. Okay, the findings of the results can help the tax administrator to plan to reduce their how to reduce their tax leakage. The findings of the study will help them to plan how to reduce tax leakage through integration among initiatives or enhance more development to the country. The integration among initiatives will contribute to the enhancement of development to the country. And the third contribution is with regards to the knowledge, whereby the findings of this study will assist future researchers to gain deeper understanding and view on the tax leakage issue in Malaysia. And they can use this study as a direction or reference for them to perform more in-depth study in the future. Alright, this is the contribution of the study. So thank you for your participation and attention. So if you have any questions, you are free to ask us through emails. Okay. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.